Welcome to Chronicles of Humanity Stories. How humans formed and developed.
Have you ever wondered how we got here? How a species that once swung through trees came to build cities and travel to the stars? Well, buckle up, because today we're re-embarking on an incredible 7 million-year journey to uncover the epic story of human evolution. It all begins on a very different-looking Earth, about 7 million years ago. Our earliest ancestors, the first primates, were tree-dwelling creatures moving on all fours, living their lives amidst the dense canopy. They were just one of many species surviving and thriving in the ancient forests. But then, a pivotal moment occurred. A small group of these primates dared to do something different. They descended from the trees and, on the edge of the vast African savanna, they began to stand up. Why, perhaps to see over the tall grass, to spot predators, or to find new food sources. Whatever the reason, this simple act of standing upright marked a revolutionary shift. This was the birth of the hominins, the lineage that would eventually lead to us. Transitioning from 4 legs to 2 was no small feat. It was a giant leap for our ancestors, freeing their hands and setting them on a completely new evolutionary path. Fast forward to about 4 million years ago, and we meet one of the most famous figures in our family tree, Australopithecus, afarensis. You might know her by her nickname, Lucy. Lucy and her kind were pioneers. They could stand and walk upright, though their gait might have been a bit different from ours. Their brains were still small, comparable to a modern chimpanzee's, and they hadn't yet figured out how to make tools. But what they did was monumental. They committed to life on the ground. Leaving the relative safety of the forest for the open grasslands was a bold move, forcing them to adapt to new challenges and opportunities, laying the groundwork for everything that was to come. Then, around 2.4 million years ago, a new player entered the scene, Homo habilis, which translates to handyman. And they lived up to their name. With a noticeably larger brain, Homo habilis became the first of our ancestors to systematically craft tools. They would strike one stone against another to create sharp-edged flakes. These weren't just random rocks. They were the world's first technology. These simple tools were a game changer. They allowed Homo habilis to butcher carcasses, access nutrient-rich marrow, and process tough plant foods. This wasn't just about getting an easier meal. It was about unlocking a new level of intelligence and problem-solving, a feedback loop where smarter brains made better tools, and better tools fueled smarter brains. The evolutionary pace quickened. Around 1.9 million years ago, we meet Homo erectus, the upright man. This species was a true trailblazer. As their name suggests, they were the first of our ancestors to have a body plan much like our own, fully committed to walking and running long distances on 2 legs. But their greatest claim to fame is something we still gather around today: fire. Homo erectus was the first to tame the flame. Imagine the world before controlled fire. Night was dark and dangerous, food was tough and hard to digest, and the cold could be lethal. Fire changed everything. It provided warmth, protection from predators, and a way to cook food. Cooking made food safer, more digestible, and unlocked more energy, which in turn likely fueled the growth of their even larger brains. Homo erectus didn't stay put either. They were the first great explorers, migrating out of Africa and spreading across Asia and Europe, proving a human presence could adapt and thrive across the globe. But the story doesn't end there. Our own species, Homo sapiens, or wise man, made its grand entrance in Africa about 300,000 years ago. What set us apart? Our brains. We evolved a uniquely large and complex brain, complete with a high, rounded skull to house it. This cognitive firepower gave us the capacity for abstract thought, for planning, for innovation, and most importantly, for symbolic language. Language allowed us to share complex ideas, to cooperate in large groups, and to pass knowledge down through generations. We created more sophisticated tools, from finely crafted spear points to bone needles for sewing clothes. We created art, painting majestic animals on cave walls, expressing a world beyond mere survival. We built increasingly complex societies, no longer just hunting and gathering, but eventually domesticating plants and animals, which led to agriculture, villages, and the first cities. Our journey out of Africa, beginning around 60,000 years ago, was the final act of this global expansion. But we weren't alone. As Homo sapiens migrated across the world, we met other human species who had made their own journeys centuries earlier, like the Neanderthals in Europe and the Denisovans in Asia. And we didn't just replace them. Genetic evidence tells us a fascinating story of interaction and interbreeding. Many humans today carry a small percentage of Neanderthal or Denisovan DNA, a living testament to these ancient encounters. Our evolution wasn't a linear march of one species replacing another, but a complex, braided stream of different human populations mixing and mingling. From a small creature peering out from the forest edge to a species that questions its own origins. The story of humanity is one of relentless adaptation and innovation. We stood up. We made tools, we harnessed fire, we built civilizations, and we never stopped asking, what's next? This incredible 7 million-year saga is our shared inheritance, a story of survival, creativity, and the endless potential that was unlocked when our ancestors first stood tall and walked out into the world. And that story is still being written by every one of us every single day. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past. See you next time.